Hi, for those of you that do not know me, my name is Dougald and it's my privilege to serve as associational missionary for Tar River Baptist Association. Sometime last year, several different people began to talk to me and encourage me to begin using technology, especially uh, Facebook Live or some type of video streaming, to communicate my heart for the church and how I see the association working alongside the local church. Well, in fact, that's how I see my purpose as an associational missionary strategist, what they call me now. I see the association as assisting the church as it seeks to become the church that God has called it to be in the community where God has placed it. To that end, I have decided to give it a try, but I would prefer that it was be audio only so that I wouldn't have to be seen. But I think that go on Facebook, I guess you show your face. I'll attempt to share with you on a regular basis. I'm not going to promise a week to week basis right now, like some of the other guys are doing, but once I get everything worked out, I'll offer the presentation at least on a regular basis. And maybe it will eventually become a specific day and a specific time of that day each week. I would, however, appreciate your feedback and your suggestions about the topics you want me to use, concerns to cover, those kind of things. You can either leave me a comment on the Tar River Facebook page, or if you wish for it to be private, you can email me at dougald@tarriverbaptist.com. Let me first share with you a little about my philosophy when it comes to associational missions and the church. And the first thing I want to tell you is it's not about building up the association. Someone asked me one time, "What do you see your job as?" And I said, "I see my job as working myself out of a job, working to make churches healthier, walking alongside churches and making and helping them become healthier in their walk and their ministry for the Lord Jesus Christ." So, truthfully, it's not about the building up of the association. That's not my responsibility or my ultimate goal. Associations exist for the local church. And that's what I need to express. I'll say elsewhere, it's not a we and they situation. I am a part of a Tar River church. We are the association. Our ultimate goal is to strengthen the local church so that the local church can better impact lostness in this generation. I've tried to share this since my very first day on the job. In fact, I think I shared it the night that you called me as your associational missionary. But it bears repeating over and over. Our job as an individual is to build up his church. So certainly our job as a church member and a member of the association is to build up his church, to strengthen it, to be all that God would have us to be in him. People sometimes ask me, Dougal, do you really believe that the association will survive? And my answer seems to shock a lot of people, but I say, most assuredly, I believe it. And I'm called to that work. So, most assuredly, I believe that the association is going to survive. I'm not naive enough to believe that it's going to remain the same. In fact, I know it shouldn't. Because if it always does things the way it's always done things, or if it always done things even the way it's being done today, it's going to be irrelevant to the next generation. We need to be relevant to the generation that we're serving, that God placed us here to serve. I thank God for the past, and I look forward to the future, but God's called me to be faithful to Him today. I've heard people say that in missions and ministry, we got to be flexible. When it comes to the life and work of missions and ministry, which the association is actively imparted, I think we have to be fluid because we never know where this is going to be going. But we know that we've got to be ready for whatever God allows in our path. In fact, I maybe need to say, just understand that if God allows it in your path, then He sees you ready of accomplishing that purpose if you are obedient to Him in it and depend upon Him and not yourself. If we're not open and willing and in the process of changing to meet the needs of our member churches as they seek to become His church for this generation, then we're not relevant to this generation of churches. And so we need to be open all the time. Associations have existed long before there was a United States and before there were state conventions or the Southern Baptist Convention. Associations existed as churches began to realize we can do more together. Yeah, there was the purpose or what we did or how we walked with churches was different, but we always have walked with our member churches. And I believe they will exist in some form as long as there are churches that are not reaching their potential. And as long as there are some churches trying to get healthier. And you need to hear this. A truly healthy church needs the association and should be a part of the association, just like churches that are trying to get healthier. For a truly healthy church will be involved in some type of collaborative, cooperative effort to help their sister churches become stronger as a church, as well as give and go cooperatively to expand the gospel around the world. It's not about what the association can give you, for you are the association. It's about what we can give one another to the kingdom cause by making His church stronger in our communities. To not be involved with a local association is to say to sister churches that you're not willing to help them become all that they can be as His church in the community. And it demonstrates an unwillingness in working collaboratively and cooperatively, which is the very essence of being Southern Baptist. When I heard Scott Hildreth make a statement in a recent workshop at Southeastern Seminary, he stated, how can we expect to reach the uttermost until we are willing to do missions locally together? Let me repeat that. How can we expect to reach the uttermost until we are willing to do missions locally together? To me, that's a seal. Stop and meditate on that for a while. I unashamedly state, and I honestly, firmly believe that if your church is not actively engaged in the local association, you as a church are suffering in some area that we can help you better advance the kingdom.